Puerto Viejo is one of those places that made me want to come to Costa Rica again and again. Full of vibrancy, abundant nature, and positive vibes, your trip to Costa Rica just won't feel complete without visiting this place. It is home to beautiful beaches, Jamaican-inspired food, laid-back atmosphere, and so much more. In this video, I will be taking you along to spend a few days with me in Puerto Viejo. Let's go!
Поделились какао.
Да.
Теперь у нас меньше
Спасибо.
какао, зато у кого-то много есть какао.
Back in the days when I was on Instagram, I made an online friend who lived in Costa Rica. We haven't talked since then, but as I knew I was coming to Puerto Viejo, and this is where Tonya lives, I messaged her to find out if she liked to meet up in person, and she did. On my first morning in the Caribbean, she took me to a hidden gem which is called Piscinas Naturales, or natural pools, and it's located in Cahuita, a quiet little town next to Puerto Viejo. These particular ones are situated on a private property, so we paid the owner of the land a small fee for parking and were able to enjoy the pools as much as we wanted. If it wasn't for her, I would have probably never got a chance to find out this place even existed. It looked like a secluded outdoor pool made of natural rock formations, surrounded by lush tropical gardens and offering an ocean view. What always amazes me is how the universe never fails to surprise you. I had no expectations whatsoever of what kind of person she is, but we ended up having so much fun together and plenty of things in common, and it was a pleasure to have her there. Later in the video you will see why, so stay tuned. After the pools we got really hungry. We found a cute little cafe in Cahuita where we enjoyed our breakfast. And in Cahuita, guys, you can go to one of the most beautiful national parks in Costa Rica. And this is what I did after saying goodbye to my friend. The entrance is free, but they request a donation of any amount. There are many trails, but since I didn't have that much time, the park closes at 4 p.m. and they want everyone out by 3:30, so I chose a trail which goes right alongside the beach, and I wasn't disappointed. Cahuita National Park is nothing short of a living testament to the biodiversity of Costa Rica. Its rainforests, beaches, and coral reefs are inhabited by a mesmerizing variety of life. It is such a peaceful place, and even the park is not that big. The abundance of animals you can see there is incredible. To my surprise, it wasn't crowded, at least not like the other parks in Costa Rica. I seriously didn't know what to look at first. The treetops are filled with lots of monkeys, and I was lucky to see a mama sloth with a baby, and on the ground you can find lizards, coatis, and one more thing, guys, you have to watch out for crocodiles. These signs are everywhere. Stay away from that murky water and don't throw anything in those lagoons, because chances are there are plenty of crocodiles chilling in there. You just don't see them because it is their nap time. I assume that is one of the reasons why they want everyone to leave by 4 p.m. because crocodiles usually eat around 5. So yeah, not to scare you or anything, but be careful. The color of the water there is insane. Of course, we are in the Caribbean. From Cahuita, I took a public bus and in 20 minutes I was back in Puerto Viejo. By this point, I felt like having a lunch/dinner. I usually eat twice a day. So I went to a vegetarian restaurant called Grow, which has plenty of vegan options and outstanding views. I believe you can feel that laid-back vibe even through the screen. Despite being a popular destination, Puerto Viejo doesn't feel touristy. You see people living a slow-paced life, and for me it felt like coming back home. At some point in my life, I lived in the Dominican Republic for half a year, and that might be the reason it felt somehow familiar to me. But I wasn't the only one. I kept hearing from people I met how much they love Puerto Viejo, and in fact, many people who once came there never left. They ended up moving and settling in this Caribbean paradise. This is me walking back to my hotel. I was so glad my accommodation was in town. I had an easy access to the restaurants, supermarkets, and travel agencies. By the way, Puerto Viejo is 100% walkable, and if you want to go somewhere like Playa Chiquita, Cocles, or even Manzanillo, you can easily rent a bike for a day or two. I loved the place I stayed at. It is called Casa Bojo and they offer private rooms. The place is run by a very lovely person named Annabelle. I really enjoyed the fact that they preserved the authentic Caribbean style in architecture. It's amazing to stay in a 5-star hotel, but I get even more excited if I get a chance to stay in a place with a history, or at least a place where I'm able to immerse myself in culture and feel it for myself. This was my room, and I had a view of the beautiful garden. From my window I could see iguanas climbing palm trees and colorful parrots and birds flying around. And in the evenings I would usually read or journal or chill in the hammock right there. Since we just spoke about the Caribbean architecture, let me show you my room. It was pretty simple, nothing fancy, but at the same time I felt very comfortable staying there. It has an open bathroom, large windows with just a net, so there is no glass. In the beginning I was like, oh my god, but I actually liked hearing all the animals and birds and nature sounds all around me. Alright, let's go to town and get something to eat, because I'm starving. I stumbled upon this cutest cafe ever, and I was just like, I have to go there and see what they have to offer. Amazing menu with plenty of options, and I went for an almond milk cappuccino and acai bowl. And honestly, all the food that I tried in Puerto Viejo had so much flavor and really nice taste. No matter what your preferences are in food, there are options for everyone. This day I rented a bike and I was super excited to go see Playa Negra, or the black beach with the black volcanic sand. It is something out of this world, literally. I didn't quite get why this beach wasn't popular among locals. To me it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Black sand beaches form as a result of both sea currents and volcanic deposits of rock, and some of the black sand is even magnetic. It comes from deposits of volcanic material such as lava and basalt rocks. Since there are a lot of volcanoes in Costa Rica, it makes sense that there is quite a lot of black sand. White sand beaches, on the other hand, form where there are large deposits of coral. Puerto Viejo is also known for an abundance of shipwrecks, as it literally translates as an old harbor. And locals utilize them quite well. They serve as a spot for fishing, kids love to play around them, and in general it adds to that Caribbean vibe quite well, I have to say. And now onto the most exciting part of this video. In the morning, Tonya gave me a call that she was going to pay a visit to her shaman, the one that taught her the whole process of making a cacao drink, and she offered me to join her. And I did. It was a dream of mine to be able to meet indigenous people and see how they live. We drove to a town called BriBri, and then she said we had to go up the hill all the way into the forest. It looked so mysterious and magical in some way. It felt like a real adventure.
My God, so cool.
Pure cacao.
Pure cacao.
Ta-da!
May I?
Claro.
Claro que sí. Okay.
So yeah, when you have those lines, it means it's ready.
Mm-hmm.
You can take it, you can eat it.
Oh, so delicious. Mm-hmm. And then you just spit out the seed.
You can dry the seed, and then you can roast the seed, and then grind the seed, like you would need to put the peel off.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have chocolate.
Yeah.
And if you leave this like this, closed, for a while, then those seeds gonna grow into seedlings. You can
Okay.
plant them, and from each seed you can have a tree.
Wow. So cool.
So it's all full of trees.
The nature is just incredible.
Each of those is like delicious.
We have arrived. For the first few minutes, I could not believe my eyes, as I was seeing something similar to what we usually see in movies only. The BriBris are an indigenous community that live in the Talamanca area of Costa Rica. They have a rich history and culture, and spirituality is a fundamental part of BriBri life. And many of their traditions are related to nature and the environment. I got quite lucky because on that day they were hosting a cacao ceremony and I got a chance to take a part in it. This is a shaman himself. His name is Marcelino. By the way guys, if you're interested in booking a tour with them, I will leave their contact details in the description and you can experience it for yourself. As Tonya had the knowledge of how to make ceremonial cacao drink from scratch, Shaman asked her to roast cocoa beans. And while you're witnessing this process right now, let me tell you a little bit about this indigenous community. Many BriBri are isolated from Hispanic culture and the global economy. This has allowed them to maintain their indigenous culture and language, although it has also resulted in less access to education and healthcare. The group has the lowest income per capita in Costa Rica. They are able to fulfill their basic needs by growing their food, finding medicine, and collecting housing materials in the forest. Their main source of income comes from growing and harvesting bananas, plantains, and cacao, of course. Ecotourism has assisted as an income source, educating people about their traditional way of life and providing a glimpse into their world. They welcome small groups into their village to experience the BriBri culture, learning about their respect for nature, walking through the forest, sharing their knowledge of all the plants and trees among them, and the amazing medicinal properties they have. This sustainable tourism generates income to assist in building their villages and community centers, as well as funds to purchase what they cannot grow themselves. They bring awareness about cacao and why it is important and respected, from the traditional and medicinal uses and sacred rituals to savoring and seeing the entire process of the production of chocolate. watching how the cacao pod is cracked open. The beans are roasted and cooled before being crushed and ground into chocolate creates a whole new intimate experience. The majority of BriBris live with running water, but many have scarce electricity. The villages are remote and isolated, away from mainstream society and influences, secluded. They strive for their independence and self-sufficiency, allowing them to preserve their indigenous culture. Women hold a special place in BriBri society, since they are the only ones that can prepare the sacred cacao drink that is essential for their rituals. Cacao has a special significance in their culture. For them, the cacao tree used to be a woman that God turned into a tree. For this reason, cacao branches are never used as firewood. The BriBri spiritual practice centers about the canonical house. This house is a symbolic representation of the universe. It is supported by 8 pillars, symbolizing the animals that helped Cebu, God, construct the universe. The house has 4 levels, representing the 4 levels of the world, being the ground level, the plane we inhabit.
El sonido.
Puro chocolate.
It was getting dark and we still had to make our way through the forest, so we sipped on a cacao drink, thanked them for hosting us, and went back to Puerto Viejo. On our way home, we saw some sort of a nightclub by the beach, so we decided to stop. This place is called Iriria, in case you're interested, and it's located right on Cockless Beach. Tonya said it's a popular spot in town. She couldn't help but dance, and I was amazed by this vibe, trying to capture it for you guys. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it and it inspired you to visit Puerto Viejo. Next time we meet, we are going to explore more of what this town has to offer, and I can't wait to share it with you. Until then, bye!